All right, welcome back. So today we're back on my slash. As you see, all the electronics are ripped out. Here's the ESC. Turns out the ESC is no good. It's burnt out. So I pulled it out. It's been a long time. This is a Mamba X. I always thought it was a Mamba Monster X. Here's a Mamba Monster X. So I'm going to be putting in a Mamba Monster X. And as you can see, the wires from the small bullets, we're going to have to go to, I believe these are the 5mm bullets or 6mm bullets. And these are the 3.5s or something like that. But regardless, I have a used Mamba Monster X that I pulled out of one of my Limitlesses a long time ago. This is actually from Gap Reviews. This was in one of his. This one had a bad on and off switch, which was one problem with it. This one, I believe the switch is going bad on this one, but I'm not 100% sure. So what I'm going to do is, this one doesn't have the sensor wire in it. So I am going to pull out the sensor wire from this ESC so I can transfer it. So I've already done all the tests. I've got no power coming when I plug in the battery and bypass the on and off switch. I have no power going to the receiver. So that's a telltale sign that the ESC just burnt out. It popped, and it was under probably a big load. I pulled the trigger and it probably either blew a cap, blew a solder joint, something. So I'm going after this little plug right here, this little plug, so that I can put it into the Mamba Monster X. And it's labeled right here, all black, white, all black, white. We're going to go ahead and stick that in here. I believe that's locked in. And I will be making this one connector now and not two. I want to get this done and on camera tonight, because I have to let it sit overnight, because I'm going to glue it in, because I'm going to take out this holder. I don't need this holder. It's not going to fit on this one. And then I'm going to have to solder and change these ends. And what we're going to do now, we're going to silicone this to the chassis. And hopefully that'll hold. And we'll see you guys in the morning. All right, well, we went ahead and got the ESC mounted down. Now I've got to change out these wires. I don't know if you guys saw the last video, but I was going to check the electronics, and in checking it, ESC failed. ESC no good, and the fan is no good. it was just loaded up so much when I pulled the trigger. I think it put a big load on it and ruined the caps on the inside, even though the top of the cap didn't blow out. Just putting some flux on here. Gonna go ahead and tin these wires now. Just so there's a little solder on them. And then making sure I got a, ooh, that one's still hot. Making sure I got a good bond. That's it. So A is on the bottom, C is at the top. So A is the furthest away. So we're doing them in order because it is a censored system. A, B, and C. There we go. And then we can put in the sensor wire. Oh, I gotta solder the power and ground wire. This ESC I robbed a switch off of, because these switches fail all the time. On my speed cars, I just lock these things off just so I install the battery. It just powers up, which I don't like doing on my bashers, but I don't have any more switches, so we're just going to do the same thing. We'll need to run a jumper for the battery. So this has to go in here. And this will go to channel number 2. But remember, these are Traxxas receivers, so it's channel 1, and then channel 2. So you got to skip one. That should be it. All right, let's see if this ESC powers up before I put this whole thing back together. Look at that. Oh, no steering. It's flashing. Wondering if I have to calibrate the throttle maybe, so the ESC knows what full trigger and stuff is. I'm imagining that's what it is. Let's try this again. That's what happens. So and then neutral. There we go. All right, everything's working. That is a good sign. Now it's calibrated. Fans are working. So the next thing to do is to get my slipper clutch put in, put the back together, and just start bolting everything back together. But that's going to end this episode. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if this stuff is helping you guys. I got the front end all rebuilt and bolted back on. Back is already all rebuilt, ready to go back on. And new ESC in there, securely mounted. Got rid of the RPM mount for the Mamba X that was in here. Now I'm going to take this off this bracket, and I'm going to send this ESC in to Castle along with the bad fan, everything on it, and get it warranted, because they do warranty their stuff. So I'm going to call Castle and generate a warranty for that. I want to say that thing's like 8 years old now. I can't remember when I bought that. It's got to be 7, 8 years old. The last time I refreshed this RC. But got the front axles all tightened back up and Loctited. Got all the steering, Loctited together. And got the rear axles all Loctited and all the hardware checked. So electronics are in here. Now I need to bolt the receiver box back up, which takes some spacers. I need the upper support brace back on. I need the rear end back on. And then I need to clean up my wire management. And then we'll be ready to rip. So next episode, we'll be finishing this thing up. And depending on how long that takes, we'll take it for a little rip and make sure that it's okay. I do want to get rid of the double connectors because I'm never going to run two 3S packs in here. If I want to run it on 6S, it'll be a single pack. So I do have to, I can probably just pull out the pin and stick it over there is what I'm thinking, and just eliminate this whole thing. It should be just power and ground. So this is power. So I just need to move the power over to this connector and then be done with it. But I don't think I've ever pulled these things out. The pin's out. But worst case, I desolder it and just solder it over here. But I do want to eliminate that, and then I just got to clean up all the wiring. And then definitely get all the hardware back in this thing. But there we go. ESC was bad. Now we have the Mamba Monster X 6S in here now, which is good. Sensor wire. I did add the sensor plug back to this ESC. This ESC came from Gap Reviews that was in a Limitless I bought from him. And I pulled it out because these ESCs are just too small for the weight of those RCs. So I had this laying around. And I think I have a couple of more of these things. These Mamba Monster X 6S's. Oh, I have an 8S. So if this one fails, throw in an 8S. And I got so many ESCs. I literally have 2 boxes plus a bin full of ESCs. But there we go. Like, comment, subscribe. Catch you guys on the next /refresh video. Thanks for watching.
Today we're going to be talking about the fundamentals of trigger control.
I just want to take time to say thank you for my family.
I was thinking, like, while you're resting up and stuff, maybe you could let me win a couple.
There you go.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. I'm Ricky Bobby. I mean, you know how to play it.
Yeah.
First or last, right, baby?